I coded incorrectly.
Is it next? Couldn't believe I woke up at 9 o'clock. What happened? I was
Did any kind of special service? I thought it was
No, I go back. I mean, move over that.
I thought that's why you
Oh, sorry. Okay, come back.
I would, if I can, if I'm up in time.
Did you want to come up here? I cut them up and put them in a tray and they're just sitting out there. That's good enough for you. You put the box up here?
No, no.
I could go this way.
Or you can turn it the other way.
That way, at least it's right there.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you. Okay. I'm good.
I lost a week somewhere in there.
Yes, you did.
Everything's on the calendar, you know, so.
It's August. It's August.
Yeah.
You're more expensive.
So since they talked to him, this one.
Now I can talk. Yeah, but I don't know what happened.
Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Good morning and welcome to today's Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service. My name is Alan Sakamoto and I'll be your chairperson today. Reverend Fujimoto will read the names of those who have passed away in the month of August. Those observing the monthly memorial for loved ones, please come forward and offer incense.
Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Nice to have many people here, and the Shotsuki service, monthly memorial, is always a very special service. See a couple of new faces here, so maybe a little bit of explanation. The first Sunday of each month, we have our monthly memorial, and that's called the Shotsuki service. So families who have lost someone during that month, they have requested the names of the people they have lost are placed in a list, and we read this list. So you may have lost someone in August of any year, it doesn't matter. And so once the person's name is on the list, we read to acknowledge and to honor that person. And so this is the monthly memorial, and families encourage each other to come to the monthly memorial. Maybe they might gather as a family unit and have lunch together afterwards or something. And so it keeps the connections and the memories of the family together. So it's always a very special service, and addition to our regular temple members, there are additional families that come specifically for the Shotsuki portion. So as Alan has mentioned, I'll read the Shotsuki names, and please come up to offer incense during the reading of the names. And you offer incense and you take your seat. Okay. Abe Masako, Ando Yoshio, Di Stefano, Ethel Norel, Furuzawa, Infant Masato, Hashimoto, Hiroko, Hashimoto, Jimmy, Hashimoto, Yasuhiko, Hattori, Kazuye, Hedani, Kyoko, Hidango, Janice, Higashi, Kazuko, Hirotsuka, Infant, Honda, Tatsuo, Sue, Brian Wei, Ikegaki, Yoshio, Imazumi, Nobue, Inoue, Tomio, Ishii, Infant Isamu, Iwahashi, Paul K, Kanzaki, Kiyoshi, Kataoka, Masao, Kawauchi, Infant Izumi, Kitashima, Roy, Konishi, Pat T, Kuge, Naoyoshi, Marubayashi, Infant Shinogu, Matsubara, Taichi, Matsumoto, Infant Chiyoko, Michisaki, Wakataro, Mitani, Kyoko, Miyawaki, Takao, Mori, Kazue, Mune, Hisataro, Nakamura, Hideko, Nagasugi, Kunio, Nishida, Ichiro, Oba, Toji, Oishi, Tsugi, Okamoto, Virginia T. Saito Yoshi, Sakamoto Tsuneji, Shibata Master Yoshi, Shimada Kazuo, Shirai Infant Akira, Shiraishi Ushitaro, Sugino Maki, Sugiyama Kimiko, Takahashi Takashi, Takao Mitsue, Takara Infant Isamu, Takeda Mildred, Takeda Shizu, Tamura Mada. Could come up in twos. Terao, Ura. Tsuchiya, Miyano. Tsurumoto, Matsutaro. Uchiyama, Fui. Uo, Shoichi. Ushijima, James K. Wada Mitsue, Yamasaki Infant Tomie, Yamashita Furu, Yamashita Haruno, Yamashita Masao, Yamashita Shoichi, Yamashita Toshio, Yanagi Kazutomo. Yoriji Ichi. These are the Shotsuki names for the month of August. If there are additions or corrections, please notify the office.
We will now start the sutra chanting and Hyobakumon. We will now have the Sambujo on pages 24 and 25, followed by the reading of the Hyobakumon. Namanda, 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 namanda.
Today, on the occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of August, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Now we will have Sutra Training Amida Kyo on page 103. 103.
Amida Kyo Yose Gamo Nichi Butsai Shae Kokuki Juki Kodoku Yodai Biku Shusen Niyakugoju Ninku Kaise Dayarakan Shusho Chishiki Joro Shari Ho Makamo Ken Makakasho Makakasenen Makakuchirariyata Shuriyandagananda Ananda Ragora Yomonadai Minzuru Arada Karunai Makapo Inna Agura Anuruna Doseto Shodai Deshi Dosho Kosa Makasa Onju Shiri Ojia Ikta Bosa Kenda Kadai Bosa Dosho Jin Bosa Yonyo Zeto Shodai Bosa Gyushakudai Kanin To Muryo Shoten Daishuku Nichi Ungo Choro Shari Oju Zesai Okaju Mandoku Bundo Usekai No Wan Goku Raku Bodo Ubun Go Amida Ongen Zai Seppo Shari Oi Dogako Dori Goku Raku Goku Shusho Mubu Shuku Tanju Shoraku Gomyo Gokuraku Shari O Gokura Gokudo Shishiju Ranju Shishiju Ramo Shishiju Goju Kaise Shi 利を主相異名税公異国明安極楽舎利法極楽国土不死法地悪毒水十万五中自在順に根社無事地変街道今後瑠璃あり五条上老各役員今後瑠璃あり社交釈証明の遺言直視地中連芸大名社理小式証拠公式要項釈式釈公逆式逆公微妙公決社理法国ら国土長寿行税空毒将軍武者理法異部国土調査変革黄金理事昼夜六時理由曼荼羅系広告修正各位英国上州妙系空用他方十万六分直次元道本国本直教養社理法国ら国土長寿尿税空毒症本武士社理法非国上宇宙金妙座式式書薬効不着法務社理科領便が不明市長税所州長長夜六時水は低温高温年長高温合力七宝大分八正道分尿税東方合同修正本税四に開出仏年法年相社理法用物微市長実税財法少少少微社外部国土部三幕州社理法合部国土商務三幕道市名家教流実税所州長改正阿弥陀仏欲量法門全流変化少佐社理法異部国土未付水道小法五十流法ら法水未妙音微妙百千十学地空差門税音社会時年上年仏年法年相死心社理法大部国土長寿量税空毒将軍ナ Namanda, 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 namanda.
Please stand for the Gatha in the Purple Book, Nembutsu 1, page 169, and remain standing for the reading of the True Treasures on page 8.
Let's turn to page 8.
The treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Please be seated.
Now Reverend Fujimoto will share a Dharma message with us. Thank you, Sensei.
Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Good morning again, everyone. So, along with our Shotsuki service, today we also acknowledge this is our atomic bomb memorial. So each August, usually the first Sunday as well, it's very close to the days that are recognized that the atomic bombs were dropped in Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So we take this moment to recognize that those events and the impact they have had, not only in Japan or in Japanese Americans, but throughout the world. So a very powerful statement that occurred at that time. Okay. So towards the end of World War II, the United States detonated 2 bombs, and the cities were Hiroshima, Nagasaki, August 9th, August 6th and August 9th in 1945. So it's almost, next year will be 80 years that since the bombings. And many, hundreds of thousands of people were killed in these two cities. Most of them were civilians. Okay. So from the initial blast, and then for days, months afterwards, many people continued to die. The terrible situation that had occurred that impacted many areas, many families, and still today. And when I think about this, I think about being a new student of Buddhism at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and a number of the ministers my age who received their education in America. We were students at the older Institute of Buddhist Studies, and our main teacher there was Reverend Kusada. So he was there in Hiroshima when the bomb hit. And so he was not directly impacted, but we didn't know till later, till we were students there, that each time, every year, he would return to Japan, and they would run these batteries of tests on him and on everyone they could locate that had been impacted by the bombings in Hiroshima. So they would be tested and engaged and see what is happening in their bodies. And he was able to live, a very long, fruitful life, but through him, through knowing him, studying under him, we were able to know that these kind of tests continued thereafter, year after year, after the bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So still today, there's a lot of debate and impact upon, whether this was something that was beneficial or needed to be done, or it should not be done, it should never be done again. So these are debates that go on and on and on. But here at the temple, as we think and we reflect upon the bombings, we want to go beyond the sadness or the numbers or the reasons. We don't want to just look at the evils of humanity or the evils of America or the evils of capitalism. If we can see and become one with those who were bombed, then it's my skin that was burned with the patterns of the kimono on them. If we can see and become with those who were bombed, then it's my eyes that saw this bright light and could never see again. So then, if we could see the people who were impacted in this manner, we become them, then we enter the pain of that person. We enter the life of that person. And so this is truly seeing where the subject and the object become one. This is Buddhist prajna, awakened wisdom. And still, this is not complete. The wisdom unfolds as compassion. So the wisdom of seeing and being one moves us and guides us and alters our lives. Okay, so this is the process. This is our way as Buddhists. Okay, we come to a new way of seeing, and it moves us to change. I was able to find a story, when we look at things that have happened during our time, a couple years before I came, the Buddhist Temple of America, Alameda, the Buddhist Temple in Alameda celebrated their centennial, 100 years. And so all these decorations were completed, the altar was finished, and many things were upgraded, and the whole Sangha members, everyone was so happy and proud that these things were able to be accomplished. And even driving by the temple, I hear our members say, "Isn't it beautiful?" And we take pride in this temple that we are able to have. At the same time, we lose our members slowly. Each month, the list of our Shotsuki names grows and grows. And so the people who led us to come into the temple, the people who were the leaders of our temple, we have lost. And we see a lot of them were part of the internment camps, and we see that these people who were there at the internment camps, we should have their records. We didn't know so much then, and so we try to interview them. We try to take pictures, keeping a record, and little by little, like we realized that 2 generations passed. The first generation of America, in America, pretty much gone. So the window of opportunity to talk to these people, to learn their history, is diminishing, getting smaller and smaller. And the same thing with the people who were impacted by Hiroshima. Same kind of effort. We need to get their stories. We need to interview them or video them and write them down. And the people who are left, fewer and fewer. But there was one story. Young lady at the time named Junko Morimoto. So now she's in her early 90s. She lives in Sydney, Australia. Okay, so she was able to share what she remembered. She was 13 years old and living in Hiroshima at the time. So her home was just a few miles away from where the bomb dropped. Okay, so she wanted to share this story. This is a little bit long, but I want to share the whole thing, okay? Please listen to this story. I was meant to go to school that day, but I had a stomach bug. My family said I should stay home because the teachers would only make me do war work anyway. It was just before 8:15 a.m. and my sister and I were in the bedroom talking. My father had gone out to get a haircut. He still wasn't back yet. My mother had trouble with her lungs, so she had gone away to an island to convalesce. My brother was part of the student mobilization and worked at Japan Steel, manufacturing weapons. He was just home from his shift, sitting by the window, playing his guitar. It was summer and it was warm, so he wasn't wearing a shirt. My eldest sister was also back from work, having a late breakfast of rice, chopsticks, ohashi, in her hands. Then we heard the loud aircraft noise. At that time, we were very aware of the noises different aircraft made. I stood up and said, "It could be a B-29. We heard the noise fade. Suddenly, there was a moment of blinding light with intense heat. I couldn't see anything. There was a strange reverberation, a noise that's impossible to describe, followed by a bang. Then the house, the ceiling, everything collapsed. We were buried and in complete darkness. That's when I thought, I'm going to die. I repeated to myself, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. The third time I said it, I must have lost consciousness. When I came to again, I was covered by debris. All I could see was a broken ceiling, and through it, the gray sky. I assumed the bomb had fallen directly on our house. In my mind, I heard tens of thousands of people in Hiroshima screaming. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I remember. My sister and I were clinging to each other. We tried to crawl out. To make sure we were all right, we siblings were calling to each other, Junko-chan, Tei-chan, Aki-chan, where are you? We're here. I found my eldest sister in what was left of the dining room. She was covered in blood. I wondered why was all that blood over her. She was hurt. One of her teeth was missing. The shock had sent one of the chopsticks she was holding through her cheek, poking out a tooth. Our brother was in another room. The window behind him had shattered. The window broke with a bang. His back was pierced by splinters of shattered glass. We were all in a panic to get out into the yard. We were treading on the shattered glass barefooted. I heard my brother cry my name, Junko, are you all right? That's when we saw everything had been flattened. There was nothing left. Across the street was a neighbor's farm where they grew vegetables. There had been a big cherry tree, and now that was smashed. The farm had completely disappeared. We could see Hiroshima in the horizon, which seemed to be on fire. Everywhere to the horizon were fires. We're all worried about Father. Then we saw him wheeling his bike through all the debris under the railway. His face was strange, a deep glowing red. We realized later he'd been burnt. His face, hands, and parts of him that were exposed was burnt, and so were the black parts of his clothes. Father said we had to get away from the house. Even though we had no shoes, we had to flee. We needed to get to the river. But there's no clear path left. We followed the railway line. We walked on the wooden sleepers. They were smoldering. There was smoke coming from under our bare feet, but we kept thinking we had to get to the river. We'd be all right if we got to the river. I myself wasn't burned, but my hair was so stiff with dust and all the other things in the air that it stuck out. I had all this blood on me, but I wasn't bleeding. It was my sister's. Although she'd been in the kitchen at the time, her blood spurted out so hard it reached me in the bedroom. I don't know how far we walked along the main rail line, maybe 50 meters, until we came to the river. What we saw there was unbelievably horrible, like a scene from hell. Crowds of people were slowly making their way from the city to the river, all badly burnt. There was a soldier there, I don't know how old. Part of his uniform had been burnt away. His back was all burnt. When he took his cap off, his hair was still there, but all the rest of his face was burned. As the injured people filed by, the soldiers smeared oil on their burns. It must have been painful. Some of them cried, but most of them were stunned, as silent as ghosts. Some were naked. Their clothes burnt off. They walked along with their arms raised and something hanging off them that looked like nylon stockings. It was their burnt flesh peeling away. They were disintegrating. The skin on some people was dark red, obviously burnt and painful. No one spoke. It was dreadful. Somehow we kept walking. Many of the victims were desperate for water. When they saw the river, they knelt down and drank, even though people told them, if you drink from that, you will die. And they did. Every one. The river was wide there. It flowed through the middle of Hiroshima, so much was floating in it. I saw corpses floating down the river. I saw a dead horse. The worst was to come. There was a huge file of people heading away from the city to the north along the river. We went with them. One was a mother carrying a baby on her back, but the baby was dead. Its head was lolling, mouth open. As we walked, I saw a little girl of 3 or so screaming for her mother, who was just lying there. She was crying as loud as she could. "Oka-san, Oka-san." But the mother was bleeding heavily, probably dead. I knew this was a tragic sight, but my mind was blank. I didn't stop to help her. My family, too, was silent because they didn't know what to think. Everyone was too stunned and uncomprehending of what had happened. We just kept slowly walking. I don't know how long we walked. The sky was always dark after the bomb fell. We never knew what time it was. Eventually we came to the countryside where there was nothing but rice paddies. The tops of the plants had been burnt and blasted flat. Then there was a loud booming noise. We thought it might be another plane with another bomb, so we all threw ourselves face down. But it started raining, and we realized the noise was probably thunder. The thunder was extraordinarily noisy, the rain heavy. It stained my white gym top black. We had no idea at the time what this could be. We didn't know about radiation. So, very graphic story, but I think we've all wondered, what must it have been like? What did people actually go through at that moment? And through sharing her words, Junko has left a little brief image of what she was able to see and experience. Another story we hear about often is that of Sadako and 1,000 cranes. Okay, so when the bomb dropped on August 6th, Sadako was 2 years old. And so just a young little girl. And when she became 10 years old, she became very ill and was diagnosed with leukemia. And her story was that she had recalled and had reheard about this Japanese legend that many people knew, that if you were to fold 1,000 cranes in origami, you could have a wish, and that wish would come true. So she wanted a wish to come true, that no one would suffer like this from the atomic bomb, to have such pain to go through, and she wanted to fold 1,000 cranes. I don't know if it was just her, or if it was her and her family, or with her friends, but through this regularly, annually, people all over the place, all over the world, would fold these 1,000 cranes and send them to Hiroshima, to the peace park in Hiroshima. So we did the same here from Alameda a couple of years ago. And recently we have our own event where we have tsuru, origami cranes that are strung on a line. And so we have them all prepared. And each time after this service, we go out to the gate and we hang these tsuru. And this is our memory and our honoring, remembering what happened during the war, the story and the wish for peace by Sadako. And so each of these things. And so for today's service, part of the service, we usually conclude, offer incense, and go down for snacks. Today we're going to offer incense here. We're going to file out to the gate and participate. Hopefully each one of us can help to hang a strand of the cranes, and we'll decorate the gate. We'll take a picture out there. There's also a second incense burner out there. So this will be part of our memory, our recollection, and our effort. So we will oshoko, offer incense, after we hang the cranes out there. Then we'll come back, and usually Shotsuki service, we have lots of goodies that are provided by the Shotsuki families, and so everyone is welcome to enjoy some tea, coffee, and a few treats. And so we'll do that after we do the portion at the gate. So usually also during Shotsuki, I'm short of time going to a second temple in the Enmanji temple. Today I'm not going there, so I'm hanging out with you guys, okay? So in the Tanisho, this is a book written on the teachings of our Master Shinran Shonin, and we studied this on occasion in one chapter, chapter 13. There are some of these words. The Tanisho is said to have been written by his disciple, not by Shinran Shonin, but his disciple Yu Yenbo. So, good thoughts arise in our minds due to the effect of past good. We are made to think and do evil because of workings of karmic evil. The late master, Shinran Shonin, said, we should know that even a trifling a thing as a speck of dust on the tip of a rabbit's hair or a sheep's fleece is a product of past evil karma. So anything that might happen or exist is a part of past karma that has gone on and on and on. And it's not just happening at this moment, at this instance. Something that happens in your life is not your accomplishment, but something that has happened from previous things, efforts of your parents, efforts of your teachers, efforts of generations past that have accumulated and come to each of us. Okay. So at another time, he asked me, would you agree to anything I say, Yu Yan? Of course I will, I replied. Are you sure that you won't disobey me? He repeated, and when I again agreed, he continued, Shindan's telling Yuyan, go then and kill 1,000 people, and your birth in the Pure Land, your awakening, your enlightenment will be settled. So Yuyan responded, even though that is your order, I protested, and even with the capacity for evil within me, I cannot kill even a single person. Why then did you just say that you would not disobey what I, Shindan, said? And then he went on, by this we know that if we could act according to our thoughts, we could kill 1,000 people for the sake of birth in the Pure Land, for the sake of our awakening, enlightenment. We do not kill because our thoughts are good, but because we do not have the karma. No, we do not kill, not because our thoughts are good. Okay? It's not because of the goodness in me, but because we don't have the karma to even kill a single person. Even though we do not want to injure anyone, we may be led to kill 100 or even 1,000 people. So it's a matter of the karmic conditions that are happening around us at the time, at the moment. Okay. Even if we think we don't want to kill anyone, we don't want anyone to suffer, we don't want anyone to die, we might still, it might be me that is led to kill 100 or even 1,000. So we don't have that much effect that we control. We don't control our own good or evil. It's based on years and years, generations of karma. Okay? We can't point to this person. He should not have dropped the bomb. He should not have okayed the bomb. No. So many things that we might want to point at, and it's usually somewhere else. And in Buddhism, we are looking at our own capacity. And when we recognize the truth of our own capacity, our own limitations, when we come to a service like this, we see our limitations. And we go and we offer incense, thanking those who came before us, and thanking the teachings for showing me my limitations, my limitations. Okay. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. That was a thought-provoking message. It struck me is because I was able to take my family to Hiroshima in June, and we observed a lot of the pictures, records, and my youngest grandchild is 10, so I'm not sure how she feels, but I'm going to ask her maybe a little while later. Now, next, please stand for the Gatha, May Peace Prevail, page 89 and 90 in the White Book, 89 and 90.
Thank you.
seated.
Thanks for all of those who helped with the altar preparations and with the service. Thank you, Reverend Dennis. The YouTube set up by Dara and Tyra. Our organist again, Lenny. Those who did the altar flowers, it's Lenny, Jackie, and Dorothy. And those who brought refreshments to today's service. Are there any newcomers in the service today? Please stand and introduce yourselves. Thank you for coming. Yeah, welcome and thank you for coming to our service. We have a few announcements today. The Awa clothing drive drop-off is today from and Friday, 11 to 4 o'clock. So today, 11 to 4, and next Friday at 11 to 4. I guess we're going to deliver it Saturday, right? Next Sunday, August 11th, is the Bishop's Memorial Service and Birthday Sunday. The service acknowledges the lives and efforts of the past bishops of the Buddhist churches of America. No services on August 18th and 25th, summer break. Sunday, September 1, there's no service, but there will be a BCA 125th anniversary service online. We encourage our members to come here and to view it. It's from 10 o'clock also. Also on Sunday, September 1st, there's an ABWA meeting following the service. Does anybody else have any other announcements? Dorothy.
So, you know, there's a film by Kent Takano, Betty's son, and it's going to be available, I think, August 15th. But I heard some interest here that maybe perhaps we can have it presented, you know, I can talk to Sensei about timing. It's Thursday evening, 6:30, so if we can find people who are technically savvy, which we don't have today, we don't have to know our person. So anyway, by next Sunday, we'll find out if we can do the time if we're interested.
Any other announcements? Well, thank you for attending this morning's service. In observance of the atomic bomb memorial, we'll be hanging around origami on the front of the gate. Please come up in Oshoko, and we're going to exit through the front door. Afterwards, we will have refreshments in Hondo. I mean, not in the Hondo, in the fall. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, you guys have candidates by yourselves? Lose them there.
You smile, man.